In this episode, I want to talk about why you should never compare yourself to others. Let's talk about that. Hello and welcome to Write Your Own Story. I hope you're doing well wherever you are. My name is James Taylor. I'm an online counsellor, hypnotherapist and life coach. I'm also a podcaster, a YouTuber and an author. Now in this video, I want to talk about why you shouldn't compare yourself to anyone, ever. What I see a lot of with my client work is clients comparing themselves to other people. So it might be they're comparing themselves to a model in a magazine, or a celebrity, or the neighbour next door, or someone that they know, or a friend, or whatever it might be. There's comparison after comparison after comparison, and it's a real dangerous thing to do because it's a lose-lose scenario. And anyone who knows me knows I don't like lose-lose scenarios. I like win-win scenarios. So if you're doing this, let's have a talk about how to change a lose-lose scenario to a win-win scenario. Sound okay? Now, I play guitar, and I've played guitar for over 30 years, and I'll probably play guitar for another 30 years at least, until I fall off my perch anyway. I will always play guitar. Now, the kind of style I play on the guitar, I play fingerstyle guitar, which is technically quite a difficult style of playing. And my guitar hero, I've got many guitar heroes, but my King of Kings guitar hero is a guy called Chet Atkins. He died over 20 years ago. And this guy was a genius on the guitar. Come from a very poor background in America, became an RCA studio director. He produced artists such as Elvis Presley, the Everly Brothers, Waylon Jennings, Willie Nelson. The list goes on and on and on. And he became really influential for what became known as the Nashville sound. It was actually Chet Atkins who was involved in this. But he was a fantastic guitarist in his own right. And he had this technique where he would play three parts on the guitar at the same time. He would play the bass, the rhythm, and the melody. Technically, very, very difficult. Now, here's where I could potentially go into a lose-lose scenario. The kind of style of guitar I really like to play is a Chet Atkins style of guitar. Now, if I compare myself to Chet Atkins, I'm never going to beat him. I'm never going to be as good as him, ever. And that's not me putting myself down. This guy was just so technically brilliant. I am never going to catch him. Now, if I compare my guitar playing to him, I'm going to feel like a failure every time I pick up the guitar. And it's probably going to put me off and make me not want to pick up a guitar because I can't sound like him. I can't play like he does because I'm not him. There's only one of him. So that, if I do that, it's then a lose-lose scenario. Do you see that? Now, instead, if I don't compare myself to him, but if I compare myself to an earlier version of me, I can then see my progress because no one else can be me because only I'm me. And no one else can be Chet Atkins because there's only one Chet Atkins. And no one else can be you because there's only one of you. So if you're trying to do something, if you're comparing yourself to somebody else, you're going to fall into the lose-lose bracket because you might feel demoralized, you might lose your confidence, you might feel as if you don't want to do this thing anymore, you might feel like a failure. That's not a good way to be. So instead, what I'd really recommend you do is compare yourself to an earlier version of yourself. And then you can see you getting better. You can see the progress you're making. You can see it a bit more articulate or whatever it is that you're comparing yourself to. Then you transition from a lose-lose to a win-win. And that's surely got to be a better way of doing it. So please, do not be comparing yourself to anyone outside of yourself. Now, this doesn't mean that those people can't inspire you. Chet Atkins has been dead for over 20 years and still inspires me to this day, and probably always will, because he was so far ahead of his time and so far ahead of me. So I can draw inspiration from what he did, and I've got loads of his recordings at home, so I can draw inspiration from that, but I don't have to compare myself to him. only myself. Does that make sense? I hope so. Please don't do this. It's a negative way of being, and no one likes a lose-lose. Instead, do this technique that I'm suggesting and do the lose-lose to a win-win. And honestly, you'll feel better. I hope you've enjoyed this one. If you have, please remember to do the like, the share, and the subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one. So this is James from Write Your Own Story. Bye-bye.